Hello everybody and welcome to my YouTube channel, Dream of Crafts. My name's Deanna and today we'll be working on week 27 of my 52 weeks of Christmas. And we're going to be doing hopefully a pretty quick project today. And I'm starting with a piece of just old barn wood that I have had in my stash, and I cut it down 11 inches and it's 5.5 inches wide. You can make this whatever size you want. You can use a store-bought piece. You can use a store-bought piece and make it look rustic, paint it and sand some of the paint off. And what I've done is I've taken a pencil and I have pre-drawn, and I've just come down to make like a main little branch. I then come off this branch with little forks here. Maybe we'll add one going this way too. And this is going to be a pine branch. I then took a straight edge ruler here and I just kind of eyeballed it straight. You could measure just to make sure, say 3.25, 3.25, make a couple dashes and then draw a line to make sure that your points are straight. Then I took a punch, or you can just create a circle or use a small Dixie cup or something. This is 2 1/8 inch wide. I sat that down at the end of my line where I thought it would look good, drew a circle around it. Then I added just a little top on there. I'll lift you that so you can see that. Can you see the little, oops, let me get my pencil here. So I come up and went across, and I kind of curved it a little. And then added a half a circle here just to make it look like an ornament hanger thing. So I have put some acrylic paint down. This one is Anita's Earth Brown 11014. It doesn't matter any browns you have. You don't have to have two different browns. You can use one brown. And this one is a Folk Art 943 Burnt Sienna. So I put both of those down. I've got my favorite red spice 20540, and that's an apple barrel paint. And I've got 3 different greens here, so I got some highlights in my needles. I've got a forest green, and I've got lime green, and then the lily pad it's called. That's Anita's 1111, and lime is 111111, and then this is Americana. And I don't see a number on there, so it's just DA83, and they may have changed their numbers by now. I'm not sure. I've had my paints for a long time, so and I'm gonna start with this smaller brush here, and I might start with my darker here, and I'm just gonna follow along on this line. You can, if you want, use markers. I've done that. I like the looks of paint. Okay. And this should be a fairly easy project. I did not pre-do one of these. This is another one from Pinterest that I just seen the picture. I did not. I should start writing down the artist or whatever that I seen from. Sometimes it shows, sometimes it's just somebody posted from somebody else. So I just looked at the picture and thought, okay, we could do that. So it doesn't have to be exactly like mine, exactly like theirs. Turn this a little bit. So, and this is very rough wood because it's old, so it's very rough. Sorry, I'm just kind of, I don't know I'm not very talkative today, I guess. That's kind of odd, isn't it? Lost in my thought, I guess. Concentrating on my lines here. Okay, we're going to let those, well, I guess we don't have to let those dry up. We can go ahead and put some of the lighter color on those right now. So let's go ahead and, not a lot of this will be seen because it's going to be hidden by pine needles, but let's just get a touch here and there of the lighter color, and mostly on that main branch. There we go. It just kind of gives it some dimension a little bit. Just to really, you don't want to cover the whole thing up, just kind of, there we go. I don't know if you can see the, you can slightly see some difference in there. There we go. All right. Now I'm going to do a coat of red before I do my leaf because I don't know if I'm going to need to do another coat of red. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Bring this up here. This is just an old paper plate somewhere around. I couldn't find it today, but I have a little palette that I like to use, but I'm not sure what I did with it. So we're gonna just come in here and stay inside of our line. And I'm glad I'm doing a coat now that'll have time to dry because I can see through this. And I kind of thought I might be able to. So I'll probably want it. Now, if it's a clear glass bulb that you want to see through, then you might not want to cover it. You might want to see through to that. So, but I think mine's going to be more of a solid red. So we'll give it time to dry so we can do a second coat. I don't want to stick my hand in my brown paint over there. So I want to be careful. There we go. All right. Okay, so now we can, I might do this string here black and then do that black. And so we'll do that before we do our, and I want this fine, so I'm going to try to be careful not to get it too wide. But we want that on before we do our needles on our pine. Like I said, if you want to use markers, you can, if that's easier for you. I like the painted look. So that's just my personal preference. There are paint markers too that are fine that you could probably use. All right, there we go. I'm also going to do this little top here in the black so it stands out nice. So without touching my red paint, I'm going to come in here. You could do it silver or gold, but I think it'll look good in black. Don't want to get into my red paint. Okay. Perfect. All right. I'm going to do the little curve on there. Again, I want to keep my brush lightly loaded so it looks like it's fine. There we go. Just like so. There we go. Hope I was in view. There we go. All right. That's my brush. I'm going to get started on some of those branches there. Okay. All right. So we're going to start in with our greens. I'm going to start with some darker. And what we're going to do is we're just going to come in and pull down. Just pull down. Those in all different directions. I might need a finer brush yet. Let's see here. I gotta be careful not to press too hard. And we'll get these going here. Tiny amount of paint and just lightly touch and going. Think of how a pine branch looks. How it goes. If you have pine in your yard, you can go take a look. Just get an idea of how what it looks like. And I kind of balance on my pinky to try to stay a little lighter there. And they don't have to all fall in the same direction. As they get closer to the end, they get shorter because that is the newer growth. That's way too much there. There we go. And we're going to do the same thing on this side. And these will be covered up with some other color, so don't freak out if there's not a complete line. Like I said, this is rough wood, so smooth wood will be a little easier. Rough wood is always harder to work on because your brush is picking up all those little bumps that you're hitting. You could do this on canvas. You could do it on paper. You know, if you have some good artist paper. Okay. All right, so now we're going to start on the next one. I'm just going to keep going here. Well, we got our brush dirty with that. We'll just keep going. He's getting a slight arc on him. Not too terrible bad, but slight. Hope everybody's doing well. I have just finishing up a kitchen remodel right now. So now I'm doing my own ceramic tile in the backsplash. So been working on that. So all right. You know, if something looks a little odd, don't worry about it, because in nature things get broken off by animals and birds, and so don't panic if something doesn't look just exactly the way. There's no perfection, I like to try new and different things that I have done. I'm not a professional painter, but I like to do it. I always have. I like to draw, but I have not had any professional training or schooling. And some people say, well, I can tell, but that's all right. If it in the end, if it pleases me and my needs, then that's what is actually important. And that's the way you got to look at it. There's going to always be critics out there on what you do and how you do it. But if you're happy with the end result and it makes you happy to do it, that's what's important. And their opinions, although sometimes nice, are not your value. That's not where you get your value from. So, you know, are my paintings and my artwork, is it perfect all the time and looks like it was stamped out by a machine, by a professional? No, but that's okay with me. I'm all right with that because it pleases my heart and makes me happy. So that's the end result that I want, is my pleasure, and it fills my needs. So I don't need a degree in fine arts or in from Harvard to be satisfied with my life. So that's kind of the way I try to look at things. No matter what you do, you know. People can pick apart your stuff and say, well, you should have done this, you should have done that. And, you know, I had one time I do grandbaby when she was little. Every month we were doing I was doing taking pictures of her, for her every month, and of course, we put them on Facebook for our family and friends to see. And I'm not a professional photographer. I never claimed to be. But on comes this person I didn't even know, and she must have been a friend of somebody and was able to see my stuff because I usually keep my personal stuff blocked. And telling me that my lighting and pose this way, pose that way, and I thought, I'm doing this for my simple pleasures and just to record. And it was nice that she wanted to give me tips and stuff, but I'm not a professional photographer. So, all that stuff, I just like taking pictures of my family. Is it nice to maybe know? But if I had wanted to learn that, I would have seeked it out and learned it. I'm just that kind of person, you know? So, but, I'm sure she meant well, but it's just like, I'd have no intentions of becoming a professional at this. But like I said, I'm sure she meant no harm, but it's just like, it's just my something for my own pleasure that I like to do. I'm gonna be careful because I can see my black is still wet there, so I'm gonna try to. My brush is getting a little overloaded here. There we go. We'll get some other colors going here in just a second. I gotta be careful. I don't want to touch any of this other green here, but I do have to come in and get some underlying needles to this one. These kind of crisscrossed a little, which is fine. They will do that naturally in nature. I just don't want you guys to be scared to try something, just because you haven't done it before. If you have the paints, I don't want you to go out and spend a fortune on paints and stuff and brushes and all that kind of stuff. But if you already have them on hand or you want to try it, pick up a couple of colors or a brush. I get these brushes at Hobby Lobby in a pack. They're pretty inexpensive. These ones are from the art department, I think, not by the painting stuff. Um, but there might be some over by there is some over by the painting too. But all right, so let me rinse my brush again. And as you can see, we're coming along. Yeah, see, no perfection there. But as you can see, from this view, you can see exactly where we're going with it. All right, so let me go my next color down. Get that just a little bit down there. Let's go ahead and start up here and work our way down. And I might want a different brush. Might need a different brush. It's getting a little... I don't want to cover up all my dark green. I can always go back and add more. I'm going to grab myself a different brush here, something a little bit thinner, I think. So, you know, don't just, I guess my point is don't be afraid to try something just because you haven't done it before. You probably will be very pleasantly surprised at what you can do. So, you know, and do it on, like, don't do it on, you don't have to do it on canvas at first or a piece of wood. Do it on a piece of paper. Just play with and practice if you're not sure. But I definitely, if you got paints, they don't have to be the same colors I have. Just, and you don't need 3 different colors of greens. You know, if you got 1 or 2 colors of greens, you'll get you can see that the greens look fine, you know. So, you know, one green's fine, especially if you're just trying it, you know. So I don't want you to go spend a fortune unless you want to really try it. And a lot of my supplies I have been accumulating for years, so I have lots of multitude of colors, and you know, even when I think I'm not going to use, I'll kind of hang on to it for a while because it's like, well, you might need that. I thought, well, I don't need this gesso. It was probably about a $40 bottle of gesso, and I donated it to the school with some other supplies. And it wasn't probably a month later, and I needed some gesso because I started doing more canvas things. Oh well, you know, the school could use it too for the. It was my grandson's like pre-kindergarten class or something like that, little one's class or something. So teachers can always use things, and they don't throw away your scrap papers. The kids love. They keep them in a bin. So all my little cuts from my Cricut or whatever, I would bring them to them, and oh, the kids just loved it. So someplace to donate your scraps, and it doesn't matter, circles or whatever, just scraps, pieces of paper they could cut up. They just loved. I might go put some more green in this one. Let me go. Here, let me just. This one don't have very many here. Get some more green ones in here. There we go. So I used to bring them all kinds of art supplies and stuff I thought they might be able to use, and they would use them. Some light on this one. Here we go. All right. Maybe a couple more over here. So. All right. Maybe thicken some of those up too while I've got the dark green. Once you start looking, it's like, well, maybe just a little bit thicker. Because we're going to be covering it up with some other colors. So. You can hear the TV. My husband's home. He's watching TV. So sorry about that background noise. Sorry. Okay, here we go. All right, let's get back into this medium green color here. I'm just going to come in here and we'll finish doing some of that up. Make sure and we're going to do the light green too, so we don't need a ton of this. We're just going to come in here and do a little bit here and there. Some different tones here. Like the light is glinting off them or something. All right. Let's get this side here. Sometimes your newer growth will be lighter than the older growth. Like the blue spruce, how they get that really pretty blue in the new growth, and then the older growth isn't as tealy or aqua colored, how green color. So there we go. One more here. And like I said, I didn't do much to this wood. I did take a light sanding over it to try to knock off any loose paint that might be on there, because this is just an old piece of wood from the barn. But you can distress your, if you want it to look old and it's not, paint it and take sandpaper and sand some places off. Or you can use your, if you have like crackle medium, use some crack paint. You know, put your base color under and do a little crackle painting on it. That will work too. So, if you want it to look distressed, that's what I wanted. I wanted the distressed wood, so that's why I chose this. I do have some small canvases and stuff, but I do like the distressed natural wood too. So that's why I chose this. All right, I'm gonna lift it up so you can get a look at it. Let's see, we're starting to get some different effects there. All right. It's my brush, and we'll hit some with a very light lime green. We'll hit our red again. Excuse me. I think I'm gonna hit my red right now, so it has a little bit of time to dry, because I want to. I had to take a drink here a second. Sorry. Oh, there we go. Well, throat's drying out. I want to put a little highlight on there. So, and if I have to, I can. Oops. I'm doing exactly what I didn't want to do. So I caught it quick, so I can get that out of there. There we go. Slow down so I don't make mistakes. We can hit it with a dryer too, so we'll try that. I want to put a highlight mark on here, so that's why I want this to be dry before then. So I think the second, I mean, a little bit's going to show through, but not a terrible amount. I think we'll be all right. So let that dry. I don't think I need any more in the black. There we go. All right. So let's go ahead now and get just some of our lime green here, and just not much, because lime green is very bright. So we're just gonna, we don't want to cover up all our dark. So just put it in here and there, slightly. Get a little more of the brush there. Okay. So I don't want a lot of the slimy color. Just a little here and there. Because it is so bright. But all right, let's see. Let's turn it this way here. I'm trying to get it like in between where my other things maybe not, so that it's covering up space. There we go. And then just maybe a couple right in here. There we go. So there you go. All right. I would like, let me see if I can move my brush there. Okay, so this one is a small flat brush, but it looks like about maybe a quarter of an inch. No, maybe not quite a quarter. Let me see. Yeah, quarter of an inch. Quarter of an inch flat brush. Let me grab my white a second. Since I put that away the other day. Well, oh, I know what it is. It's over here on the other desk. All right. Thought I put it on the shelf in the closet, but I was doing a flip flop for somebody. And I'll show you that in a second. Maybe I'll do a thing on that. I'm just going to put a tiny drop of white here. I don't need a lot. And this side looks dry, so I'm going to put my marks on there. I'm going to take my brush and I'm going to do the flat edge like that. So I'm going to do the flat edge like that, and then I'm going to come in and make an arc so it looks like it's reflecting, okay? So just kind of like that. More. And you want your brush to kind of do that, like it's got, like it's feathered out. Okay, and I'm going to do another, maybe just a short one. Nope, not happy with that. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. Hang on, and I'll show you. Okay, I'm going to dab some of that up if I can. Then I'm going to repaint my red. That's what you can do when something goes wrong with painting. Sometimes. I'm not going to say 100% of the time, but sometimes you can. All right, and then we'll get, oops, too much water on my brush. Water my paint down. Okay. All right, cover that up. Let me get my dry. I'm hoping that's not stopping like it's saying it is, because that's going to drive me crazy. Twice now I noticed that it says my frame has dropped, so hopefully it hasn't stopped recording. I have no idea what's wrong with my Logitech lately, but it's been giving me trouble. I'm going to dry this. I know it's noisy. It's dried. Nice and dry. And I'm not sure what the problem is with it lately, but it sure has been acting up. And it's upsetting me. So, and I just downloaded the updates and everything. So there it goes again. So I'm hoping that it keeps going. If not, I'll have to explain. All right, let's try again. So nice light curve. Just like the light is glinting off of it a little bit. Very light touch. There we go. And we might even put just a little glint off of that. Not much. There we go. All right, so that's how I'm going to leave it. It's got a nice little glint off of it, like the light's hitting it. All right, so now all you have to do is turn it over and sign your name. Now I'm going to try to paint mine. You can do yours however you want. I'm just going to get in my black here. You can do this in marker. And I'm just going to paint my name on there. And then we'll add the year 19. Boop. There we go. Okay. So that's the end of week number 27 of 52 weeks. I appreciate you following along, and I hope you continue to. And I would really appreciate it if you would subscribe to my channel. If you do, make sure you hit the bell so you can be notified each time I put up a new video. And a thumbs up is always appreciated. So till the next time, I hope you have a great week. Bye-bye.